everybody, thank you for watching for our how-to ER video. We're just going to cover the normal and heroic platform of it until we get to Mythic. You'll eventually see Mythic content videos as far as execution coming in the future. Just to start with damage dealers, you want to make sure that during spider form that you're properly taking the necrotic venom out of the area. When we watch this replay, you'll see where they're running it. It's the raid leader's discretion, so if the raid leader puts a red flag in a certain area and says take it here, that's where we're going to take it consistently. You always want to take it outside of where you're at. And then you also want to have a deposit area for the twisting shadows. Now you got to be careful with twisting shadows naturally, because twisting shadows are going to occur at the same time as dark storm. So it's kind of like place and then immediately defensive, run back, get yourself into the eye of the storm of the dark storm, and then you're fine. Okay. Your priority is that whenever the spiderlings are present, you want to make sure that you're burning the targets down as quickly as possible. Again, this is something that we have to keep mentioning over and over. Anytime that there is something that is a priority kill over boss damage, you need to make sure that you have a targeting macro for it and you immediately engage it. Or, for example, as soon as it goes live, you need to make sure you're tabbing it, clicking it, whatever you're doing. Make sure you're throwing something at it and engaging it immediately. Healers, you want to make sure that you heal the proper people that have the web of pain, because they're going to end up getting the most of it. You also have to watch out for necrotic venoms pools that occur from when the spiders end up taking damage or leaving it on the ground. And then you also want to make sure that the necrotic venom which stacks, you want to make sure from the venomous pools, you make sure that you're healing for that. You also want to make sure from web of pain, that's where they're connected, that you're properly making sure that the heals go into it. We're probably going to need designated heals on tanks as those moments come along. For the tanks, the big thing is to manage the dripping fangs as they come in. Whatever tank is responsible for the pile-up point. Now, it goes like so. You'll see the boss be present in one area, and then we want to stack the spiders in another and burn them as quickly as possible. On heroic, it does not matter the distance, because that is something called swarm, and swarm only applies on mythic at this point. So wherever we end up stacking, we can stack them right next to each other. We can blow them up immediately and then turn slightly left, for example, or right, and immediately burn the boss. Okay. During rock form, you want to make sure that you're doing a swap during the racking talons. Blah, 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 can't talk today. And then also you want to make sure that when rock form occurs and she ER switches from one platform to the next platform, that you're doing your best to get yourself a shimmering feather and then properly using it and get yourself over to the other side. So we're going to watch this at 2 times here. This is a top execution at a relative eye level within a point of ours, and team size also. And you'll be able to see that a lot of the stuff that we've already doing, even though we got it down to 1%, it's pretty much 0% on that wipe that we ended up having, and our execution of it kept improving. You'll clearly see what they're doing and be able to be like, okay, this is how they're running through it. So they begin the pull, they start the boss off over in this section over here. You're going to end up seeing the webbing starting to occur, and then they take the poisons along this side here consistently. Here comes the spiderlings. They bring the spiderlings right next to ER and then blow them up, so it's the same stack point. It's very clean. Webbings are still going on. They start moving with it. They burn them all up, so now they're back engaged on the target. See, this right here is a venom pool. They put the venom pool along this side here. And this is pretty much the entire phase as far as for spiders. So when you see spiders and you do this, once you've done it on platform 1, you're good to go on platform 2. So what they're doing here is, this is the transition to the second area, and they move closer to the bridge like we started doing. It makes it much easier to manage overall. You deal with the spiderlings. They're burning them in this relative area here, and they have ER right before the bridge. Now they have the placement here of, they're continuing to put the poisons back in here. You can see that this is the time period where the wind effect was going on. They grabbed their feathers and then they transported themselves across, okay? So the big element that you want to make sure that you're picking up on as you go back here is just the management of how to deal with the dark storm as it comes through, and also the twisting shadows, so that way you're properly managing them. Since everything back in here is where the poison is, if you can put the poison along these edges here, you can put a twisting storm anywhere in here. Now, there's going to be points where the spiderlings are going to end up dying, for example, over here, but that means that you still have a relative area. So wherever you have green on the ground, don't take the purple icon there. And then when you have dark storm occur, you want to make sure that you take it out. It's going to drop off relatively within a second or so, and then you need to immediately use your speed boost and a defensive. I would go defensive, speed boost, and follow up if you have to use, for example, another one if you have that ability. If not, you need to run until you get to the center. And once you're in the center, then the damage falls off, okay? So we're going to continue forward. Oh, it's Hero Pot on the pole too. for heroic and normal. They come across, and this is something that they did a little bit different. They manage ER through this section here, for example, and they took care of getting, like, for example, the spiderlings. They killed them in this area here, and they put poisons in here and in here, and then allowed the dark storms to occur. I'm sorry, twisting shadows to be placed in this section here. As you can see, they're taking one over this way now. Okay, so that's just something we can take a look at for positioning. I think that it made it a lot cleaner in the general area to be able to manage. The idea of once you've seen everything on this side here, you're pretty much going to see it all over here, and it's exactly the same. Okay, it's just that for example on this side here, because of the fact that they go from rock form to spider form to rock form, you're just going to see a lot more activity on the platform that you have to manage with as you get further down. You can rotate your second potion into your cooldowns at 2 minutes, 2 minutes plus. You just got to make sure that, like, for example, let's see what happens at 2 minutes. Like, so at 2 minutes, you're transitioning. So you want to try to hold your cooldowns off as you get across, and then once the bird is stabilized, ER is stabilized, then engage with your pots and cooldowns. So make sure you look for in this section here, which you can do, and then rotate from there. And then again, like I said, they take the target from here down to here, and they just manage it in this section here. Now, of course, the spiders are going to be burnt in, like I said, in the relative area. Like, it's really difficult to say, hey, burn the spiders here, because of the way that the twisting shadows work. They move, but you just have to kind of manage them and pay attention and do what you can. So look to what Boom calls for as far as where he wants the necrotic venom to be placed, and just do so accordingly. And then what we'll try to do is manage where we place the twisting shadows and give them the opportunity to be able to move as much as possible in a general area where they won't cause any disruption. Okay? If you have any questions, please ask Boom, Dan, or myself, and we'll be able to go over with you on our Discord channel or in game. Okay? Have a great day, and I'll start on the next video.